So Mac entering the mid-priced market. I have a rant about that. So they're not actually. That is the Mac equivalent of like the Qualcomm chip. They're essentially using the processor that is on the iPhone and putting. Yeah, I'm very predictable. um, but it's clear that I was going to have a rant about Mac locked and loaded. Like, so okay, I sound paranoid when I talk about this stuff. I don't think that it is like a planned obsolescence thing. I don't think the point is that it's using a shit processor, so it's going to like, need to be replaced more frequently. What it is doing is it is locking people into the Apple ecosystem because it is a mid-range computer that like is it's I think the lowest one is 499 or like it's 499 with a student discount. That's a pretty fucking cheap laptop right now. Like seriously, like the kind of crap laptop that we've been looking at has been 429, and that's like an Asus, and it's not a great computer. So Apple competing with that is like really interesting, but it doesn't have a ton of storage and it doesn't have a ton of capacity. And what's going to happen is that students and people who like haven't been in the Mac ecosystem so far are going to buy these computers, and then they're going to be stuck in the Mac ecosystem. And Mac is not going to make their money off of selling the computers. I mean, they will also, but what they're going to do is they're going to get the money from the iTunes store, get the money from subscriptions, get the money from people paying for additional storage because the computer doesn't have enough storage. And because if you want to add additional storage to that computer, it's going to double the price. I haven't actually looked at what the storage upgrades for this is something that's worthwhile. Okay. So I don't know that it would necessarily be considered like a loss leader. Actually, let's see. Is that what was is the Hello Neo a Matrix reference? Yeah, I don't necessarily think that it is a loss leader. I think that it is more about getting people into the ecosystem. I think it is more about, you're going to have students who are doing this. You're going to have people who could never afford a Mac. So let's see. Okay. Pick your color. Cool. Let's go with pink. And okay, so it is oh yeah, also I don't iPhone, but I know that the like glass transparencies or whatever they've had on the most recent update has been driving people nuts, and I know that this is some stuff visually in common with it. But yeah, $100 difference for the storage isn't awful, and actually that's more storage possible for an additional $100 than I thought was possible for this. So, but it does take it up to being a $700 machine instead of a $600 machine. But yeah, it's going to be largely true. The Matrix is so old that maybe it isn't a Matrix reference. So like, oh, I guess it would have said "Wake up, Neo." So, but yeah, I think this is probably to get people into the ecosystem. I don't think it's going to be a particularly good machine. It's a low monthly payment for 12 months if people want to do it. It's I wonder if maybe they would let me get one at work and like torture test it. I will say, so this is one of those things that like I don't use it actually, which is interesting to figure out because I had wanted one for so long. I have an iPad. This is the first iPad I've ever purchased. I got it a couple months ago or I guess I got it a year ago, which felt like a couple months ago. But I got it because I have wanted a drawing tablet for a long time, and I had looked at the iPad and the pencil when the iPad was, I want to say it was around $1,000 and the pencil was like 150 or something like that. And it was absolutely out of my price range and was for a very, very long time. And then I think it was last year, with some holiday or another, Amazon was having a sale. It was a Memorial Day sale. So that's when I got it. But it was like $300 for the 10-inch iPad with like 128 gigs of storage and Wi-Fi, and the Pencil was thrown in for free. And so it was like, okay, that is the best price I've ever seen on it. Things are going okay at work right now. Things were going okay with Large Bastard. I was able to get like the iPad and everything. Turns out I hate drawing on it. Turns out that there are just not, I just don't like drawing on tablets. I just like drawing on pen and paper. And I'm not going to say it was an absolute waste of money, because I've actually been thinking about using it to do streaming stuff. Like, I think it might actually make a decent mobile way to, like, at some point, if we want to do something streams, and like you guys can watch me yell at my kitchen or something, it may be useful for that. So I'm not going to say that it's useless. I'm not going to say that it was a waste of money, but I also have been out of the Apple ecosystem for so long that, like, I don't want to attach anything to a Mac ID. I don't want to. And that's what I'm concerned about with the prices coming down on these things, is less about, and I also, like, I don't want to use Firefox without an ad blocker, and that's not a choice that I have in iOS. Like, that's what you're stuck with, and I don't like that. I don't like the lack of control, and it's I don't like Apple. Everybody knows I don't like Apple.